Middle of the day, downtown Seattle. A couple sitting at a red light. A man walks up, pulls a gun, and unloads it into their car. Kills a woman, kills her unborn child, and then stays at the scene. Confesses. And 3 years later, he's not guilty. Not because he didn't do it, because the system says he didn't understand it.
From Seattle to Los Angeles, this is Left Coast News. No apologies, just the truth.
Welcome back to Left Coast News. Tonight we're doing a full breakdown of one of the most disturbing cases in recent Washington history, the killing of Ian Aquan in Seattle, and what the outcome actually means. June 13th, 2023. What happened? June 13th, 2023, Belltown, Seattle. Ian Aquan, 34 years old, 8 months pregnant, sitting in a car with her husband outside their restaurant. At around 11:15 in the morning, Cordell Gooseby approaches the vehicle and fires multiple rounds into it. No argument, no prior contact, no known motive, just a random attack. She dies at the scene. Doctors try to save the baby. They can't. Her husband survives with injuries. Gooseby doesn't run. He stays there. Police take him into custody and he immediately confesses. Who is Cordell Gooseby? Now let's talk about the suspect because this matters. Cordell Gooseby wasn't some unknown ghost with no history. Seattle media is reporting that he had no prior criminal history, no previous convictions in King County. That's only a half-truth. Big surprise. Public records show he's a convicted felon out of Illinois. Prior drug charges, weapons offenses, theft history. And investigators say he also had a documented history of mental illness. So you've got a combination here. Criminal background plus mental health issues, which is exactly where the system starts getting complicated. The legal process. After the arrest, Gooseby is charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and if convicted, he was looking at decades in prison, possibly 50-plus years. But early on, there were signs this wasn't going to be a standard trial. Police on scene said he appeared to be having a mental health episode during the shooting. And eventually, both sides, prosecution and defense, agreed on something you almost never see. He was legally insane at the time of the shooting. No kidding. That's rare. Usually insanity defenses are fought hard. Here, both sides signed off on it. The verdict. The court delivers the verdict. Not guilty by reason of insanity. Which, let's translate that into plain English. He did it. The court agrees he did it, but legally he's not criminally responsible. So what happens next? Is he released? Does he walk? No. But also, not exactly what people expect. Under Washington law, a not guilty by reason of insanity verdict means he is committed to a state psychiatric hospital, not prison. And here's the key detail most people miss. This is not automatically a life sentence. He will be held in a secure mental health facility and doctors will evaluate him over time. If at some point he is deemed no longer a threat, and this is Washington, so let's be honest, that's going to happen, and no longer legally insane, he can petition for release. So yes, he's locked up right now, but this is a treatment-based system, not a punishment-based system. And depending on how those evaluations go, release is not off the table in the future. The legal gaps. Now let's hit the part that's driving outrage. Prosecutors stated, Washington law does not allow a homicide charge for an unborn child, unless the child is born alive. Yes, Washington, and it's thought of babies. So legally, the death of the unborn child doesn't carry a separate homicide charge. And prosecutors also said they couldn't file manslaughter because there was no evidence Gooseby knew she was pregnant. So even though 2 lives were lost, the law only recognizes 1 criminal count in that context. Why this case matters. This case sits right at the intersection of 3 issues: mental health versus criminal responsibility, what the law recognizes as a victim, and public safety versus legal standards. And it exposes a reality people don't like to confront. The legal system doesn't always operate on what feels like justice. It operates on definitions. And that raises a bigger question. What is the government's primary responsibility? Protect individual rights or ensure public safety? A woman is dead. Her unborn child is dead. The man who did it confessed, and the final outcome is not guilty. Committed, not sentenced. That doesn't mean nothing happened. It means the system handled it exactly the way it was designed to here in Washington State. And whether people are okay with that design is a question that's not going to go away anytime soon. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think of this case. I think it's just another case in the long cycle of cases we see here in Washington where criminals are not held responsible for their actions. This guy will go to a mental hospital, nobody will hear about him again, and in a year or 2 they'll probably kick him back out on the streets and he'll do who knows what then. And why is the media trying to make it sound like this guy has no history? They don't talk about a simple internet search will show you what this guy's criminal history is that he has, that they claimed, specifically not in King County. No, but he does have a criminal history. Why does the media cover that up? Why does Washington love criminals so much? Why do criminals get so much more rights than we do here in this state? So drop a comment, tell me what you think. Do you think the system in this state is fair? Because I don't. Thanks for watching Left Coast News. Please like, share, and comment. You can find us on all the social media sites, so follow us where you like to go watch videos. Thanks for watching.